Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? This is Joe Figueroa with another video in our series Anatomy of a Dance, where I break down social dancing count for count, pointing out everything the dancers do. This week's video was a quick one featuring Panagiotis and Amneris. Two pros, yes, but the movement is something all of you probably learned on day one of dancing salsa and mambo, the right hand turn. So here's your chance to subscribe and ring the bell, because we're starting right now. The right hand turn, sometimes referred to as a spot turn, has to be the most common movement done in any salsa dance. So in a sense, it can be quite boring after a while, to a point where you as a dancer don't even realize that you do it or see it. But it doesn't mean that there can't be any creativity to its execution. Like I always say, new ideas on old movements. Anyway, Panagiotis and Amneris have a couple cool ones here. This is my first video featuring Amneris Martinez. She's been around for a long time. First time I saw her, she was a child in San Juan, and even then I could tell that she was going to be a star in the scene. I met her a few years later in London, and then even later took a pachanga class with her and Juan Matos in Chicago. She can dance with anyone and make them look like her regular partner. But I digress. The focus is these right hand turns. Check out this first one here. You're going to hear me say this a lot. Notice the symmetry. We start with this back break for both. Ban has her right hand in his left. The back break implies a meeting in the center. Panagiotis moves forward and then beyond the center as if he is stepping past her. Right away, this is worth pointing out, because it's the reason this works. He's using a concept I like to talk about a lot. The follows follow the hand. So Pan is clear in using the hands to direct Amneris' movement. Once he stepped past her, he changes direction to face her, and have her face him, passing both sets of hands over her head first, and now over his own as he returns to his original position. First his left, then his right. But I'm getting ahead of myself. They're dancing on two. Once he first passes her at the center, he uses the handhold to change her direction on the count of two. This is the beginning of her right hand turn. Granted, it's larger in step than normal, but a right hand turn nonetheless. Ban uses tension in the handhold to guide Amneris back to her original position, making sure that he is out of the way so she has space. Okay, so during her turn, he passes his left hand over his head. It's almost as if he ducked under the handhold, bending his legs so he could be accommodating to her. Thoughtful. Once he has gotten out of that position, Panagiotis passes his right hand over his head. Now notice the symmetry, the body position. Notice that they both took a forward step on 6. His left, her right. Also notice that Ban's lower half of his body is facing one way, while his upper body is turned almost all the way in the other direction, and his head is turned almost backwards. It's like he's made of cartilage or something. But seriously, this is great because his plan was to finish the movement with a basic step for the both of them. So him being able to maintain this position helped to define the line for Amneris. The symmetry points throughout is almost too many to count. The next one is quite simple but still cool. It starts with this barrel roll inside turn. Immediately after, Panagiotis crouches way down and passes his left hand, her right, over his head for a caress. Once again, courtesy. Amneris is clearly shorter than he is, so rather than pull her arm up beyond its length, he crouches down to accommodate her. Notice the clear high and low lead. Once the hand is cleared and released, Ban quickly lowers his left hand while raising his right, doing two things in the process: preparing Amneris for something, and providing lead at her middle for that something. Notice again the clear high and low. This all happens in a blink, but happens nonetheless. That's discipline, training. Now let's see courtesy again. Panagiotis uses the back of his hand at her midsection. This also does two things for the follow. First, it feels to her more like his arm wrapping at her waistline. He's able to press his forearm to her midsection, bend his wrist so that his hand adheres to the small of her back. It gives the follow the feeling of being enveloped, almost blanketed. The follow feels as if their entire left side is blocked or covered. That limits the possibilities of direction they can take. Second, it's a level of respect, making contact with her figure without using the palm of his hand. It may not be necessary to create a simple right hand turn, but it shows a lead extending every courtesy possible, the utmost respect for your partner. This last one has similar characteristics to the first one. Although the handhold and exit is different, the techniques to lead it are nearly the same, and for the follows, it's still a right-hand turn. Panagiotis picks up Amneris' right hand low at the middle, raises it up while picking up her left below. They are now with rights high and lefts low. This is happening during the preparations of 6, 7, and 1. Panagiotis takes what I refer to as a progressive basic, meaning that he makes his steps larger than normal, moving down the line more than usual. Ban steps 6, 7, and 1 beyond her, moving past her on the line. He passes the hands over her head one at a time, first the rights, then the lefts. Now they have traded places. With the lefts still on the high line, Ban quickly begins to step back to the space he was originally in as he passes the hands over his head. He applies pressure in the fingertips to help guide her through the rest of her right-hand turn. I like that this gives us the other perspective of the first one. Once the movement is complete, Ban brings the right hands over his head to his left shoulder and releases them, then brings the lefts over to his right shoulder. This crosses her arms behind him for just a moment, because he's going to release the rights as he quickly turns to his left to face her, finishing the movement and beginning the next one. Remember when I spoke earlier about the concept of follows following the hands? It's right here. Ban understands this, and Amneris is a perfect example of it. He places the hands in the direction that he intends for her to face. He does this throughout the movements. There is never a time where he is not providing her with clear direction. Amneris is a hair-trigger response like I've referred to others in the past. She operates by touch, misses nothing, reacts quickly to anything thrown at her. Like in the first one, the symmetry happens throughout, like looking at a reflection in a mirror. Look at all these snapshots. And there you have it. 3 different versions of a simple right-hand turn. I think it's important for dancers that might be new to salsa to see that being an advanced dancer doesn't mean only doing advanced movements. Most dances for any level dancer is going to consist of basic movements that we all know how to do. Just a matter of creativity. That's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. This content is for you to benefit from, so any feedback that you can give me will be greatly appreciated. Comments, likes, and even dislikes will help me to provide you with the best content that I can. So do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one. And remember, keep dancing.